Hello and welcome to my presentation for this session. My name is Richard Hardiman. I'm the CEO and founder of Ram Marine Technology, a drone and environmental business that is based in the port city of Rotterdam in the Netherlands. As a maritime company, we're very happy to be situated in one of the greatest and biggest ports in Europe and amongst the biggest in the world as well. For our business, it makes a lot of sense. I was recently in the IGEM region in 2019, so it's nice to be back, albeit electronically so at the moment. I want to take you through today's session and have a look at the products that we're producing here in Ram Marine's center, and have a look at how we tackle plastic waste and other waste on the ocean and within the harbor walls and waterways of our world. To give you some idea of Ram Marine, we were founded in 2016. My mission, and I try and instill this throughout our team as well, is to design compelling technology that protects the waters across our planet. Our technology being, of course, the drone technology that we use. Our drones don't fly, they're not underwater, but they're on the surface of the water. And they're made to patrol marinas and ports and harbors and rivers and canals in and around the world to harvest waste and harvest data at the same time, autonomously or manually driven. Our main focus, as I said earlier, is ports, larger harbors, smart cities that are based on water, and the marinas and small harbors. We have a lot of ancillary markets as well, where we're able to add benefit using our products, being the NGO or NPO environmental associations, corporate sponsorship, and waste management, of course, which we're seeing a larger and larger growth through 2020 and 2021. The problem we're trying to solve is that as human beings move into the cities, as they are doing around the world, away from rural areas and into areas where economic freedom or economic excitement is provided for them, we're producing more and more waste within those areas. And most of those cities in and around the world are generally based somewhere near water. So the more plastic we produce, the more population we introduce, the bigger pressure falls onto our ecosystem water-wise. What we're seeing is around the world where cities are now straining at the side to contain not only economic booms, but at the same time, the people that are walking into those cities to sort of feed that economic boom, they're bringing more waste, and that waste is not necessarily always dealt with very well. It ends up in the waterways and then into the ocean. And what we wanted to do was provide a solution that stopped that waste coming from a large city, a large port, entering the water systems, be it directly from a port directly into the sea and then into the ocean, or via rivers, where the waste is then dumped into a river and then slowly goes out into the ocean and pollutes our ocean and marine life. We try and be a triple impact company, and in order to do that, we need to look at what threat there is to both the biosphere, the economy, and then, of course, to society. It's costing more and more and more each year to protect our world from this pollution. We have species that are under threat. We have the threat to the economy. The more money that we spend trying to beat this problem, it costs us, taxpayers, more and more money. And of course, it threatens our very, very society that we live in. The more pollution that we have is not healthy for humans, and it's certainly not healthy for our marine life. And that is a circular problem. The more plastic, the more waste we introduce into our water, the harder it is to have clean water. And of course, that puts pressure on our health systems. Our solution at the moment is triple-fold. We have 3 products out in the world, Waste Shark, Data Shark, and then Oil Shark, which is in beta testing at the moment, and hopefully released by the end of the year into the general commercial population. Modern problems need modern solutions, and Ram Marine, as I always say, is a company that sees technology rising to the critical challenge of those solutions at the moment. Plastic is a relatively new problem in our environment, be it 20, 30, 40 years old, but in the greater scheme of things, it's a new threat to our problem, and therefore it needs a new solution to protect us. Our initial introduction of product was this. It's the Waste Shark. It took us 3 or 4 years to build. As I said earlier, it could be manually controlled, or in the particular case on the left-hand side, you can see with the LiDAR, we have an autonomous version. These pictures are from Bangkok last year, where we are trialing with a couple of partners out there at the moment, and indeed the government. It's an interesting concept to deal with because wherever you go around the world, there are different problems and different solutions are required. So we don't see ourselves as a silver bullet, but we certainly do see ourselves as a complementary product to a number of other solutions that are out there at the moment. The Wave Shark is designed, as I said, to work inside coastal areas. So we're not looking at clearing up the ocean. We're looking at stopping the problem before it gets to the ocean. And I think that's quite a big point to offer, is that we're not trying to clear up the gyres out there that have really been sunk in plastic over the last few decades. There are plenty of great companies that are doing fantastic jobs in trying to harvest that waste that's already out there. What we're trying to do is limit the waste going out into that ocean and into that ecosystem. So by capturing the waste in a port, in a harbor, in a river, before it flows out into the sea, before it gets to the ocean, we feel that we can stop that flow and lessen the effects for years and years to come. So while we're not doing anything to clear up the current problem, we're certainly doing a lot to protect and hold back more plastic going out into the ocean and developing that problem into a greater problem. I'd like to show you very quickly a video. This is the Wave Shark in action. This one in particular is in Rotterdam. We use a very simple deployment mechanism that can be used for 80% of deployment requests and challenges that arise. As I said, some of our more manual craft are controlled by manual controllers, as you would do a normal drone, but of course our drones are on water. The craft is small enough to get into areas where other bigger craft can't get into, but at the same time has a big capacity. So it can still take 350 kilograms of waste at any one time, but it can still get under harbor quaysides, in between jetties, in between boats, and do a good job of, specifically in this case, in this video, clearing up plastic, as you can see munching on that rather large bag there. We've developed the Shark to be autonomous and be able to relay data, harvest data, and send that back to our servers in real time. So you can always control your Wave Shark, see where it is, but you can do it from a desktop if you have the autonomous mode setting in place. Planning waypointing, planning missions, all of that can be done from our server-side portals, so you can actually interact directly with the Shark, not having to be on quayside with it. All that information is then relayed back to our servers and relayed back to our customer portal, so you can see exactly what's going on with your product. Here we are in the Ganges in India, circling around and just having a little bit of fun. But you can see how agile the product is, as opposed to, say, a skimmer boat or a larger vessel with people on board. Of course, just as easy to take out as it is to put in. A few of our customers around the world would like to recommend us. We work with the WWF in a number of territories. We work in South Korea, South Africa, India. We've got partners in the USA, UAE, to name just about a few. But at the moment, we're covering a fair amount of territory. And of course, in the Asian regions as well, we have dedicated partners there as well to service you. Every competitor that's out there is not seen by us as a competitor, but someone else who's doing a good job. We just rate ourselves quite highly in the areas of commercial activity, the ability to get to market, to do the job that we say we can do. So this is not really a competitor analysis, but rather just showing you that we like to outperform other businesses that are out there as far as what our product can actually achieve when it's in situ. Our business model is fairly simple. We have direct sales from here in our offices in Rotterdam, but we also have channel partners around the world that also provide customers in various regions, as I said, around the world with direct access to our product. Let's have a look at those key products. As I said, we started off with the Wave Shark, which can harvest up to 350 kilograms every time it goes out. It's about the size of a coffee table, if you can imagine that. So it doesn't seem too big, but it can hold a large capacity. It has 3 electric thrusters, so it's very quiet when it's in the water. It doesn't disturb marine life. We're not able to catch marine life as well. That comes up very often. People ask us, you know, is it damaging to marine life? Of course, that's something that we wouldn't ever want to do. So we've never caught anything. We never hope to catch anything that's live. We certainly have caught dead animals, unfortunately, but nothing to do with us. We prefer to capture the harvest waste, plastic waste, biomass, things that are stopping the water from being healthy on a daily basis. It can operate in very cold temperatures. It can operate in very high temperatures. So here in Europe, of course, in winter, we're able to operate in winter times, which a lot of other vessels aren't able to do. In the UAE, for example, we can operate up to 50 degrees temperature on a daily basis, and quite happily so as well. It's carbon neutral, so once you have it deployed, it runs off electric batteries. You recharge it overnight, and then it can go for anywhere between 6 to 10 hours, depending on the water conditions, but you're not polluting the water while you're doing it. Our data shark is something we introduced in 2020. It is something quite unique to us. It's a drone that floats on the surface of the water, but is able to take data, water quality data points out of the water as you go. So we're looking at chlorophylls and phytoplanktons, phosphates, more specifically though, salinity, turbidity, dissolved oxygen, nitrates, temperature, the kind of things that impact a resilient ecosystem and change what's in the water and how it's reacting. We find this mostly for academic and smart cities who are quite interested in getting those data points out of the water to see what their water is doing. And all of that data, of course, passes back to our customer portals, so you get real-time information coming back. And we can pretty much fit our data sharks with any kind of water data sensors that you require. We have a couple that we obviously recommend, but we are able to extend that range as much as our customers need it. Our oil shark, as I said, is in beta at the moment, I beg your pardon, for testing. But the idea about the oil shark is it's designed very similar around the waste shark, but specifically for hydrocarbons in ports and marinas to take away incidental spills. So where there's bunkering of fuel in fuel terminals, perhaps in dry docks where there's a lot of oil spilling off decks into that water, we're there to go and consume that up and harvest it back and then bring it back to shore. So it's something we're trialing at the moment with a customer in the city of Aarhus in Denmark, and hopefully into Amsterdam very shortly as well. We're just beginning talks with them. But the idea is to be able to put this into fuel terminals, anywhere where there's incidental spills, and be able to quickly and as a first response vessel, get in there and cover those oil spills, suck it up, and then return it back to shore. The Shark Dock is something that we've just started as well. We've just recently received a large European grant to develop a multi-docking system, autonomous solution for ports and smart cities, whereby we can have 5 of our waste sharks deployed at any one time. They can return back to the dock, recharge, empty out whatever they've caught, be that oil, or be it biomass, or be it plastics, into a receptacle, recharge, relay the data that they've harvested at any one time back to each other, back to our customer, and then redeploy. So this is really a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day unmanned coverage of water areas. And that will be implemented by 2021 and 2022 in various modular forms, but be ready for market by 2022. And we're quite excited about this one. It's going to be an interesting product to launch. Certainly something that comes with a lot of challenges, but we certainly have the crew here at our Rammarine headquarters to enable us to get that to market. With autonomous navigation, obviously, it's something that is required for safety reasons, particularly in ports. So here's a screenshot of our back end, where you have various different drones at any one stage. You can log into them, see what they're doing, what their battery state looks like, where they are in the world, and what they're up to. We use a RoboSense LiDAR that gives us 3D accurate vision of exactly what's going on in front of it, and we've got anywhere between 60-meter and 120-meter vision on the shark at any one time, so that we know we're not going to hit anything we shouldn't be hitting, moving traffic or bollards or something that is in the port at the time. Our idea is to quietly motion around ports, collect the waste, and bring it back to shore without endangering humans, wildlife, or the shark itself. Our sensor data is something we're quite proud of as well. As I said earlier, it can be scalable. So we look at a number of different water resilience kind of water technology, and the water quality that we're looking at, anywhere from dissolved oxygen, pH, ORP, conductivity, depth, turbidity, but we can go on and on and on with kitting it out for our customers. We use a secure 4G communication from the shark. So most areas around the world do have mobile connectivity now. We focus on using internal 4G connection so that we know that we've always got uptime and operations as far as sensors go, and return that sensor data back to our customers. I think it's quite important to focus on this, that a lot of the time people aren't aware of just how much having that sensor data and that water quality data is useful. A lot of the time our customers want to collect the waste, but don't realize how useful it is to understand what is actually in the water as well, as far as data goes, and how that changes over a long period of time. So it's nice to have that database over a few years and to see how, when they clean the water, exactly how their water quality improves. Our competitive advantage, and I say this competitively, I don't mean it that other systems don't work at all. We just like to show how we do better and how it's cheaper and more efficient to run our system than a lot of other systems out there. So obviously, from a capital point of view, our entry level purchases are a lot less. It's easier to deploy our systems. It's cheaper to deploy our systems. From a do no harm point of view, to animal injury, human injury, environmental damage, we're far lower than a lot of people. We pride ourselves on being eco-friendly. There's no massive diesel engines on board ours. There's no having to use 5 or 6 people on one vessel in order to deploy it. We can get in under those jetties, we can get in between boats, and we can get the trash, we can get the oil, and we can get the data all back to land safely. It's very easy to use as well, which is, I think, is very underestimated. That you don't need a licensed pilot for this. You don't need a captain on a boat. Your basic manual labor are able to operate this, and it not only gives them something better to do than have a net and try and harvest waste. They now become drone operators. So there's a social upliftment there as well. It's very easy to use. It's designed for children to use. I can use it. I'm very sure that you can use it as well. So thank you very much for listening to me today. I really appreciate your time. I hope that you've gained some insight into what you do, or what we do here at Ram Marine. We'd love to talk one-on-one as well. I really believe that what we're doing here is so pertinent to what's going on in the world, as far as the damage done by plastics, by bio-waste, by oils, hydrocarbons in our waters. And we feel that we're developing these products to really give the weaponry that's needed out there to people that want to do good, but also do good in the environment they're operating in. We're offering systems that are cheaper to deploy, easier to deploy, quicker to use, and really, from a return on investment point of view, do better than what's out there at the moment. I always go back to the fact that if there was this problem that there is out there at the moment, if the systems that we've been using for the last 20 or 30 years were any good, we wouldn't have this problem. So new solution for a new problem, and that's exactly what we focus on here at Ram Marine. And I thank you for your time, and we'll be happy to take any questions that you need via rammarine.io. Thank you. Hello.